So Brian, thanks for coming in today. Can you think of a time when you were a member of a group or a class here at St. Mark's and how that group had a meaningful impact on your life and your faith?
So a few months ago, I joined the Bible 101 class that was started. I believe this was the first time that it was offered, and when I heard about it, I was really interested to go back and relook at the Bible. The last time I'd really paid any attention to it was many, many years ago, and I was bothered by some of the inconsistencies that I found, some of the stories that didn't really make sense, and I think I struggled enough that eventually I just stopped paying attention to it in a more formal way. So when the Bible Study 101 class was announced, I thought it might be a good time to learn more about this and to go back and take another look.
What happened for you as you took part in that Bible 101 class, Brian?
So I remember in the first meeting or two, they took the same Bible passage but looked at it in many different translations. And I think it was eye-opening to see in a very first-hand account how translating one language to another is really complicated, and to see how it can take effect into different Bible translations. And I think that along with some of the historical framing of what the stories meant to the people at that time really was helpful in terms of setting the stage about how the Bible can and can't be read and how it should be thought of.
How did the Bible 101 class impact you personally?
I think it really went to the heart of some of my previous frustrations with the Bible. Some of the areas that was really difficult for me to look at one word or the way it's used, or how it, and later on in the same book it might be told separately. Understanding that it was an oral tradition written down, then translated, collections of stories put together rather than one person putting pen to paper. I think all of that, really understanding it within the framework of the stories, was helpful for me to start my journey again and trying to put together these stories and to try to find the meaning in them.
So for you, there was a positive spiritual growth that came out of Bible 101.
Absolutely. I think it's the start of more re-looking into the Bible and what it means to me at this point in my life, with the new framework and understanding of how it might be used. We just started the Bible 201 class, and I'm hopeful to continue this journey.
So April, thanks for coming in today. Can you think of a time when you've been involved in a ministry here at St. Mark's that's had a really meaningful impact on your life?
Most recently, when we went on pilgrimage over the summer in July, when we went to New Orleans, it was a very nerve-wracking experience, but it turned out to be the most spiritually moving experience I've had since I've been here. The Rite 13 and Journey to Adulthood classes spend years preparing for this big journey that they go on. It's usually around 10 days. Ours was 10 days. And there are multiple components to the event. There has to be a component of spirituality. There has to be a component of community building, team building, and there has to be a component of service that go into the planning. And so we decided that we wanted the children to experience disaster recovery. We decided to go to New Orleans.
So do you want to tell them a little bit about Miss Wilma?
For the rest of the week, we went to this amazing woman's house. Her name was Miss Wilma. She's about 80, and she is the primary caretaker for her 2 grandchildren and her unwell daughter, who has some significant mental health issues. And Ms. Wilma herself has dementia and is the primary caretaker for the 2 children that are there full time. However, she has an amazing spirit, an amazing outlook on life. She feels like she's been blessed, even though her house has the worst termite infestation that the exterminator had ever seen in his life. There's just no fixing this house, but there's nowhere else for the family to go. I think that Ms. Wilma's faith in God was a big thing for the kids, because she talked about how blessed she was from God. And it really made the kids think about all the complaints that they would have about things that really didn't mean anything when they had so little but believed so much and felt so blessed. That was one big piece of it. The other thing was our church-going experience was, I think, very moving for them. We went to St. Anna's right in downtown New Orleans, and the preacher was wonderful, and the kids all felt really engaged in the church service. They stopped in the middle of the service and welcomed our group. They invited us to share a meal with them afterwards. The whole community was incredibly welcoming. On top of that, there was a wall outside of the church that remembered all the murder victims and how they died for the year. And the list is updated every year. And just the ages, the ways of death, the sheer number of murders that had been happening down there were staggering for us as adults, but definitely for the kids. And they prayed for them during the service. And they talked about all the outreach that they do to go out and try to make a difference in the community. So I think that was a big thing. And then just some of the real life reflections that they don't have to deal with on a regular basis, I think really hit them. For me, I felt that all the work that I've been doing really sort of culminated in this moment, and the sort of aha moments that the kids were having. I really felt like sometimes you feel, unfortunately, when you're talking to teenagers, like you're talking to a wall, because you don't get a lot of responses back. And the kids, it felt like they really got it, everything that we've been working towards. And I felt like God was really sort of patting me on the back, that it wasn't falling on deaf ears over the last few years. And that was really wonderful, because sometimes I wonder if the work that we're doing is really achieving the goals that we're trying to achieve. And it was great.
To take a pause in the middle of the week to touch closely with God. That's why I come on Wednesdays.
So I also enjoy the little saints and famous people that Father Peter reads to us about, which I wouldn't find out about anywhere else.
I find Wednesdays is an easy day for me to come to church. I have a hectic schedule. I feel close to my fellow parishioners, and I feel I can share any prayer requests I need to in the small setting.
When I come here on Wednesdays, I find that I'm more centered for the week after. It's nice to get to know the people that you're meeting Christ with.
I come here on Wednesdays because it seems like a long time between Sundays for me. And I always come on Sunday, and the Wednesday service just kind of renews it and enforces it and enhances it in my life, what I picked up on Sunday.
My family started coming here in 1962, something like that. And not too many people can say that. And I don't know if I say it with pride or with fear. I don't know all those questions. But it's a great place to be. And I wouldn't be here if it weren't. It's all different people, and it's very fulfilling. We've had our ups and downs, but that's how we live and how we gather up and keep on going. And it's a wonderful place. Thanks for letting me be kind of nutsy at times, too.
That's because we're family.
Thank you, Marcia.